hours of blackout. And you're telling people progress. Cost of living gone up 100%, yet you give public servant less. Mr. President, listen to the people. Search your soul and you will confess. I want you try surviving on the public face. Then you're gonna know for stress. Cause I done fed up, you done fed up, he done fed up, she done fed up, we done fed up, the people fed up. You're hiding corruption inside the cup. Look how evil set up. The people fed up. They don't drive no pay with the citizen. They may want the people speak out. Freedom of speech done gone inside the gutter. Knock off when you open your mouth. Discrimination in entertainment. And you're talking about one Guyana. When the Ministry of Culture keep the big shows. Band set to girls and banner. Cause I done fed up, you done fed up, he done fed up, she done fed up, we done fed up, the people fed up. You hide the corruption inside the cup. Look how evil set up. The people fed up. Every picture you take and promise you make, everything you do is about clout. Then you come into me for I shake your hand, there's nothing to smile about. Corruption inside every sector, but when it comes to them, they send you. Try investigate efficiency, right? But talk to Baratans too, cause I done fed up, you done fed up, he done fed up, she done fed up, we done fed up, the people fed up. You hide the corruption inside the cup, look how evil set up. The people fed up. I done fed up on the dirty water, low pressure, want scream and tell somebody. Imagine 1,500 US, and they're telling me super salary. I done fed up on the unemployment, racism and the lie, they say one Guyana. Cause when you look where the oil money going, circulate with one set of banner. Cause I done fed up, you done fed up, he done fed up, she done fed up, we done fed up. The people fed up, and inside the cup, look how we will set up.
Yeah, my name is Justity Caldata Francis Vietnam, and since 1965 I become a voter, and I always place my X next to the cup. And what they are doing today, I can't take it. So I have no more vote to give to PPP anymore. I'm not going to vote anymore no more. If they have to lose by one vote, they're losing it by data.
There and fabricate that. Unless you say who the person is, I can't comment on anonymous people.
Okay, well, let's talk about specific individuals. What is your relationship with Mr. Su Jurong?
Su? Oh, Su? My relationship? Nothing. He's a tenant.
You could probably, on the maritime area, give Venezuela a channel out to the sea. So you make a slight concession in the maritime area.
Are we going to do a body man walk right now? You ready? Boxer, let me go now. Hear me sing now. Body walk, body walk, body walk, everything. Body walk, truck, body walk, body walk, body walk, everything. Body, listen. Body jump, body jump, body jump, everything. Body jump, body jump, body jump, body jump, everything. Hear me sing, so. Big body down here in tight man, big body down.
So it's in the rice price.
Persons can do so peacefully, and they can, but blocking the road for hours is something that
Mr. Ali, I saw you blocking road. Yes, Mr. Ali.
I'm just telling
Mr. Ali, there are videos with you protesting, you being a scrape and a tug. Mr. Ali, this is not, listen, sometimes we gotta put our position aside.
This is not position.
No, we gotta put our position aside and place ourselves into people's shoes. You gotta understand, even those persons who were traveling, yes, they were inconvenienced.
Don't be fooled. That Paku, Irfan Ali doesn't know about that. He doesn't know about decency. He doesn't understand these things. He's very insensitive towards the entire family there. And that is why people continue to say, justice for Adriana, justice for Adriana Young. I mean, it's a pity that it didn't start in the beginning. You know, there was some hiccups. They were misguided in the beginning, but I'm glad that things are on track and it's going full force. People want justice for Adriana Young, and they will get justice. They will get justice. All right, good night to all of you. What time is it? It's endorsement night, right? No, I'm just kidding. You know, everybody's endorsing. Uh, I might as well endorse. And seriously, I might as well endorse. So Emma, and Emma and Jonathan, they're in school, and so Emma is going to be running for class president, prefect they call it in Guyana, but class president, and I make it public that Emma is my choice. Of course, Emma is my choice. I don't know who's your choice tonight, but it is endorsement season, right? Endorsement season. Good night to all of you. The Buxtonians claim that I don't say good night to them, and the Bookers and all these people. I don't know what it is, but good night to all of you, whether you're from Buxton, whether you're from Plaisance, Golden Grove, wherever you're from. Linden, forget about Ann John. She says she's peeping. Forget about Francine Cruz. Bingo. Right. All right. Hey, good night to all of you. Fidel Albert, Carl Miller. And, usually if I don't call your names, I still appreciate the fact that you guys share the link and the fact that you guys are with us. Well, we're not going to say anything to Tony Hack tonight. We're not really bothered by Tony Hack. Hey, Tony, how you doing? And Rajan Bin and the whole crew. Please, in the audience, take it easy with Francine. And people have been complaining that y'all accusing Francine of bingo money. I'm stealing bingo money. Tonight is not the night for that. Lyndon Elliott, how are you, sir? All of you, good night. Elections around the corner. 90 days. And, we're going to continue to say 90 days, right? Melanie, Allison, Watson, right? All of you, Carla, Claudette Allen, the whole crew, man, where do we start? Endorsement, or do we start in talking about some other stuff? What is? I want to say something. I noticed that MP out in Linden, Devon Sears, I believe it is. One long stop to say that he ain't going nowhere, right? Which is good, though. Don't get me wrong. It's good. But he really said where he's going, but he said that everybody in the opposition, and read between the lines, right? Everybody in the opposition, he care who is over there, is Okro, Kokop, Belanje, Dal, and Rice, Baigan Joker, he care everybody, and he's an AFC guy, and say everybody. All right, good night. At least he's speaking up now, right? The thing is with some of these MPs, and I'm not here to knock the MPs. I'm not knocking them. I'm just not knocking them. They had an opportunity. To speak up, but a lot of them seem to be speaking out now. They have a voice now. Look, let me just make this clear. This is no personal attack against Gita or anybody, because I don't take politics serious. Personal. So it's not a personal attack. I've known Gita for many years. In fact, her husband and I were little kids pitching marbles together and so forth. And so I'm just saying this. There's nothing personal here. I think she has made a wrong choice, but that's okay. She's entitled to that. It's just a wrong choice. She might very well go right back in the opposition and then switch back and come back when the opposition, once there's a proper coalition, they get into office after the September 1st elections. However, I've noticed some people, they're going after her. Fair enough, but be objective. Be objective. Some say that she's always been there with the PPP, and why? No, not really. The PPP gave her help for many, many years. I can attest to so many different things, but I rather not at this moment. But I think she just, it's her choice, but it's the wrong choice. It's like walking. An endorsement of the PPP now, it's like walking straight into hell. It's like you don't care. You're walking into hell, right? And that's what these guys have done. They have walked into hell. And when they go there, they got to work. They got to walk. And the amount of work they're going to be doing now, don't you wish they were actually working for the party? In this case, I'm talking about the PNC. Forget about Schumann, he really get no party. Forget about Asha, she really get no party. And the other guy that grab onto the mic like if I'm sorry about that. Patricia Chase Green, let me get no constituent. The other guy in the middle, I honestly can't remember his name, but then them guys are what you call jump shippers, right? Oops, I said jump shippers, and I swear I thought I saw for a moment Van West Charles winked at me in that photograph. Van West Charles, good night if you're watching. At least look, let's be fair, man. Van West got a hustle. It's all about a hustle. Do you think these guys really care? Do you think they respect Irfan Ali? It's all about the hustle. Turn to your neighbor. Yeah, sound like the reverends and the pastors. Turn to your neighbor and say, it's all about a hustle. Right, Jason McDonald? It's a hustle. Rohan Basandra. It's a hustle, guys. It's just a hustle, right, Joylyn Cutting? It's a hustle. And just imagine, look, let me say this to you. And for those who, a couple of other MPs in the opposition, the AFC and the PNC and so forth, who are planning, there's still a couple of them. They're undecided. They don't know whether to go or not to go. But I'll tell you guys this. I'll tell them, do not go. Because if you go, there's no space for you guys. You guys going to end up distributing and selling the Mirror racked up newspaper or whatever. Like what Bond is doing. Selling newspaper, walking around in a hot sun. Oh, with even no umbrella. They didn't even give Bond an umbrella to say, let him go and sell or distribute that rag of a newspaper, or whatever it's called. Mirror. They're treating these guys like dogs and cats, man. Seriously. You know, it's like, can we say a word of prayers to them? Because they've gone right into the hell's den. And they're not going to be respected. Father God, as we take this time out to pray for these guys, they have lost their way. We know that they have made some serious blunders, and we pray that they open their eyes and swing back. Swing back. It's not too late to swing back, because the PPP will use them for these elections, and they may get no position to get. None whatsoever. Absolutely none. Don't be fooled. That's all I'm saying. Oh, I forget for a moment we were praying, right? All right. What else is it that we can talk about? Their endorsement. And these endorsements aren't heavy endorsement. Heavy endorsement. Come on. Who will vote for Asha? Van West trying to think, Bond, we know he's a hustler, and it's just basically vexation, vex. Like you go to a dance and you get vex money. Well, these are vex politicians. They may get through with a little something and they're vexed, their bumps raise, they're gone, they walk out, they dance, they're carrying it. Well, in this case, they may carry nothing. They're vex. It's called crossing politics. Crossing politics, that is what it's called. Nothing else. And so they're carrying their crossing bundle. Thank you, Jesus. Hallelujah. Let them carry their crossing bundle over to the other side. That's good. Notice Janet O'Neill asking, I waiting for you, Mark, to endorse. Okay, I guess you're saying you're waiting for Mark Benshop to endorse. Right? Well, keep waiting. You may very well get that sometime. I'm watching. Like you're just watching. Well, me, I'm just watching. I am just watching. That's all. I'm just watching. Like they say in Brooklyn, I heard a teenage guy, I'm finna watch, man. I'm finna watch. That's it. I'm finna watch. All right, for now. But we need to see. We need to see more action in the opposition. Watch out for them. Watch out for them. Just watch out. Keep watching out, right, Margaret? Patterson, Wickham. Keep watching out for them. Keep watching out, right, Civic? Because you guys you guys have to monitor the burial grounds, right? To make sure that the tombs and those caskets and everything, they stay right there. Be careful, guys, because you'll see them walking out and voting. Sorry for a moment. This is a serious show. This is not like them guys and their like mop head and these sort of things. But you've got to be careful. This elections are serious elections. Remember what the PVP did to rig the elections. And there are some of them who were there as part of the rigging, as part of the criminality. They know exactly what happened. And I don't want people to come and pompous at me and talk about GRA. I'll talk about the elections in 2020 and how it was rigged and the criminality. Irfan Ali said that he get two nice big vehicles, probably bulletproof and these sort of things. So all of these guys knew what they were up to, and I really mean it. Every one of them. So do not be fooled at all. Pay attention. Go out on elections day and vote. Put your vote in the right place. Put your X in the right place to ensure that you get a proper government. And it has to be a decent, a proper coalition. Because if you jump, and this is the sort of politics some of them in the opposition don't really, some of the MPs, they feel that if they just jump up and talk about a big coalition and everybody and this, sometimes it can be not so good. Not everybody got to come inside this pot, because they could spoil the whole cook-up or the dal. They could spoil the stuff. And so you've got to be careful with a coalition. A coalition is the toughest thing in politics to handle. But in Guyana, it lasted a very long time. Check in coalitions around the world for the most part. Israel and those other places, they don't last for long. And so this whole talk about everybody in the opposition come together, some of them might squeeze in. And then when they squeeze in, you see them in parliament, they pull out a penknife and start stab you in the back. It's human stuff, right? For some people. The Bible says the heart is so deceitful. Who shall know it? Can I get an amen from Mark for that, please? I know it's Tom Anderson. I didn't tell you guys that Tom is going to be on. He smiled when I said, the Bible says the heart is so deceitful. Who shall know it? You don't know what a man is thinking right now. I don't know what Tom is thinking right now. But the little bird just whispered in my ear that he is thinking about endorsement. The question is, will Tom Anderson endorse anybody in the Guyana elections? I doubt that, but Tom can speak for himself. Good night to you, sir. How are you?
Good night. Great, Mark. How's everyone tonight? Good to see a good audience on tonight. Hello, everyone. Good night, everyone in Guyana. Good night, everyone in New York and everywhere else. Good to see you guys. Glad to be on.
Absolutely. Good to have you on as well. And we are actually glad that you are here. By the way, success story about your children. Congratulations to your kids on the graduation, and congrats to all of you out there. You have kids who graduated from college, high school, wherever. It's just an awesome moment. Tom, congratulations to you on behalf of
and thank you everyone that follows me on Facebook that shared congratulations and everything. I really appreciate it. Just receiving all the love and the warmth. It was great. So really much love to everyone, and I just felt a part of the whole community, and I felt like their success was shared with everyone. So that was great. So thank you.
Yep, you're welcome, and good night to all of you who are now joining us for the first time. Those of you the regular. Tom, quickly, we got some stuff to talk about Guyana politics. But what's happening with your book? What's going on?
Man, we're trying to see. So I'm trying to get people to write blurbs for it now. So we've got it out. We've got the advanced copy, the official advanced copy now circulating with a couple of people, and we're trying to get them to write little snippets for us that we'll put on the book covers. So that's where we're at now. And just finished the bibliography. That was about 20 pages. We've got an index. We've got everything cited. So yeah, this is one of those books that's going to be, just full of facts and not just stories from, unknown sources. No, it's all factual, and it's all put together in a way that, over 15 years of research, and it's put together in a way that just tracks some of the biggest things that have happened in the region of Guyana, by the way, over the last 15 to 20 years, especially when it comes to the impact of the United States Senate on Panama and Colombia and Venezuela. Because remember, this book is about Senator Menendez. It's called Gold Bar Bob. And Senator Menendez always had his thumb on the Western Hemisphere. And he always had a focus on this area near and around Guyana because there was such a connection to Cuba and such Cuban influence, and because you have Venezuela next door. So basically, if people in Guyana want to know, why are things the way they are? Why are certain things dysfunctional around us? Why is it that in Venezuela things are so crazy? What's good? A lot can be explained by reading the book, because you'll see that Senator Menendez, he was supported in the United States by a group of former Cubans who were anti-Castro, and they were funding a lot of anti-Castro activities in Guyana and throughout the Caribbean. And so, like I said before on a previous show, there was an airline that was blown up over Barbados that had 11 Guyanese passengers. They were students, some of the top students in the nation of Guyana, and they were headed to Cuba to become doctors. And so these Cubans had blown up this plane in a terrorist attack, trying to send a statement to anyone who would support Cuba, because Barbados had opened up a new flight route into and out of Cuba for people who want to come in and out. And these anti-Fidel guys were angry about that. They didn't want any country sending planes in or out of Cuba that could support Fidel. And so they blew this plane up. And so that's in the book, and we describe how these guys, while they were financing these terrorist attacks and blowing up planes with Guyanese students on board, they were planning this out of a fashion store in New Jersey, a clothing store in New Jersey, in the back room. And these guys were the number one funders of Menendez when he first got into Congress. So we're able to talk about in the book a lot of the ramifications of all of that, how that impacted the Caribbean, and how Menendez's corruption, how that has impacted the Caribbean. And you can see there in Guyana how, a guy like him with all that power, how it got the United States and all of our power to influence your nation in ways that have hurt you guys even today. So a lot of that's in the book. And so it'll be a great read, but there's a bunch of other stuff in there about spy games, crazy spy things going on in the Dominican Republic, in Panama, all kinds of stuff. So it's a great book, man. And I hope everyone can grab it.
Can't wait to get a read of that book. Any discount? Guyanese already with it. Tom, can I trust a book in Guyana? We don't say, can I trust a book, Tom? All right, it's 28 minutes after 9 o'clock. I trust all is well with you guys, wherever you are. Tom, what's going on as you take your binoculars and look into Guyana and all the endorsements? Not really a heck of a lot, but some of them from the opposition just crawling over to the PPP. You looking in. How are you? What's your take on all of that?
Yeah, so from an outsider's perspective, I mean, from the view of a lot of Americans who know a little bit about Guyana and know a little bit about how nations, oil-rich, resource-rich nations, sort of evolve when they get access to the riches. Usually, what happens is one party will take over everything, and it becomes a dictatorship. That's like 9 times out of 10. And so it's not a surprise to see opposition members joining the PPP, because the pressure is going to be for everyone to just become one party, and therefore there to be a dictator. That's just how it goes. That's what the people of Guyana have to fight against. And so when you see people going over from the opposition to the PPP, it's a sign that the nation is going closer and closer towards a dictatorship. That's what it is. And that's what's happening to you. So everyone has to be aware of this and you all have to understand that you're headed towards a dictatorship. And the only way to avoid getting into a dictatorship is to have a robust opposition party, right? And in order to have a robust opposition party, it's going to have to come from the people themselves, from the ground up. So that's where things are at. That's how I see it from an outsider's perspective. I see it as it's a bad sign. It's a sign that Guyana is headed towards a dictatorship.
Yeah, quickly, Tom, as they crawl over, some of them crawl. I say they crawl over or hop over like like frogs in a trench. Just hop over to the PPPC. Do you think some of or all of these guys, they mean it when they say that Irfan Ali has done great stuff over the past 5 years? He's a great this and great that. Do you think it's more to do with some sort of opportunity for them over there to benefit themselves, or it's really about development or country?
Well, I mean, think about it. In today's world, everyone just cares about their own pockets. I mean, that's just the truth. No one, if you see someone out here in politics who cares about, the citizens and they care about the voters, that's not a successful politician. I'm sorry to break it, but like the reality is we live in a time now where selfishness is seen as a positive trait, and most populations tend to vote with the most selfish individuals who only care about themselves the most. That's who they tend to go with. That's who they tend to like, the voters. Unfortunately, that's just where we're trending as a world right now. And so, so when I see all of this, I'm looking at it. I'm looking at the situation, Mark, and I'm just saying, hey, man, all the signs are pointing towards everything headed towards a bad way for Guyana right now, in my opinion. All the way down to, individual voters and just apathy. And so, yeah, so what's basically happening is there are people in the opposition who see it advantageous to themselves, not only politically, but monetarily, financially, to support the PPP. That's what happens when you have, a country developing that's so resource rich. Is what normally happens is the party that's in power, when the resource money starts coming in, they basically take over everything because they have all the access to the money. And the opposition party members, if they want access to it, they have to join the majority party, the party that with the oil money, right? So slowly but surely, more and more opposition will join the PPP because that's the only way you can get money, right? And that's the way that they're running this, the PPP. That's why I say this is headed towards a dictatorship. And yes, they're supporting the PPP because from their perspective, this is what's going to benefit them personally the most. And you're going to see more people jump over there, I think, in my opinion.
All right, so it's all about an opportunistic move by these guys. It's nothing about country. It's nothing about voters. So do not be fooled, guys. Wayne Caesar is with us tonight. Good night to you, Wayne. Let's jump straight into this whole situation. First question, Wayne, what is your take on these jumpers jumping over into the hell's den, so to speak, by endorsing the PPP regime? Good night again.
Pleasant good evening to you, Mark. Good evening, Mr. Tom Anderson, and a pleasant good evening to all of our freedom fighters that are here present with us this evening. Well, Mark, when you look at the jumping, so you look at leadership across the board in Guyana, there is something that is systematically wrong on both the side of the leaders and on the side of the electorate. Now, when we look at the electorate, and I've said this over and over in programs, we have to vet our leaders properly. We need to understand them and to know them inside out. Okay, this jumping, it's weakness. It's weakness, and that weakness is gonna lead to disappointment because many are seeing it as the PPP have these elections wrap up, but I don't see that. I don't see that. I believe that the PPP is going to be trounced in these elections. I believe that the Guyanese people understand what it's at stake here. The fabric of Guyana as a nation is at stake here. Why are people going to vote for the PPP? What happened? What has not happened in the first 5 years? What will lead the electorate to believe that it would happen in the next 5 years? Okay. And a lot of these hoppers endorse Irfan Ali for a job well done. Well, I don't know what lenses they are looking through. It all starts up with the Henry boys when Irfan Ali promised justice. By all means necessary, he would leave no stone unturned. What happened there? A complete breakdown and failure with that investigation. No justice was ever handed out to that family. The parents of both young men ended up dying. So they didn't just kill 2 people and Harish, they also killed the parents. That's where I'm going to go with that. Now, $57.7 billion the PPP went back to Parliament for elections. That's for them. That's for them to attempt to pay the Guyanese people. But I believe and I trust that people are now edified and understand that it's only at election time that these handouts are coming their way, and they will wisen up and understand that a handout doesn't last you all the days of your life. You need consistency, you need longevity. Okay? The people of Guyana, I believe, will understand that 53% of them is living in poverty in oil-rich Guyana. These are the issues that I'm expecting the Guyanese people to understand. The people will also understand, and this is recently, this has just happened. On the ballot will be young Adriana Young and the PPPC government's failure, okay, to give justice to that family. Okay, the 2 young men in Linden, that will be on the ballot. The 20 young people in Madia, locked up in the school, caged up, like if they're animals, to burn to death. Okay, that will be on the ballot. So when people, and you know, I'm going to call names, when you have people like Daniel Searam, and I have nothing really against Daniel Searam, but ask the question, Mr. Benchcap, what has Daniel Searam done in 5 years? Okay, Geeta Chandan Edmond, she was not impressive. I don't feel like if the PNC have lost anything. Okay, so these people, these hoppers, you know, I don't believe that they're going to have a massive impact in any way or form. Yes, the optics does not look good, Mr. Benchop, that you have MPs leaving your party. The general optics does not look good. But when you talk about impact and you look at these people, what do you see? Nothing much. What are they bringing to the party? Nothing much. All right, over to you, sir.
Thank you. As we move on, 37 minutes after 9 o'clock, points taken. And Tom, as you look into the elections in Guyana, are you seeing the people fired up, ready to go, based on what you've been observing?
Well, the the scary thing I'm observing is this, and this is what I think everyone should ask themselves. And I saw someone ask this question on Facebook about a week ago, and most people just kind of ignored it or laughed it off. But I think it's a legitimate question to ask, and it's this, right? What is it about the political system and the political parties in Guyana right now, where you've got the PNC, the PPP? What is it about it that makes it so that so many citizens are attracted to Azruddin Mohammed? That's the big question. It's like, if the PNC and the PPP, if they're doing what they're supposed to be doing politically and doing what they're representing the nation properly, right? Then why is it that this guy who's under sanctions has become so popular all of a sudden with people in places? And I'm not saying he's the most popular guy, but what I'm saying is he shouldn't even have any popularity whatsoever with his track record. But the fact that a guy of his stature with his track record could get the kind of support he's getting, what is that saying about the nation of Guyana? And what is that saying about the representation of the people right now, how lacking could it be? And so I'm not surprised that people from the PNC are jumping ship, because I think it's actually bigger than just, you know, a two-party problem here. I think they're jumping ship. But at the same time, I think some of these people from the PNC are jumping ship may also know that jumping ship may not do much, because right now there really aren't that many options. And so they're having to choose the lesser of two evils, and they're jumping over to the PPP now. But I think this all speaks to a problem in the nation overall politically. And I think it's pointing to the fact that the country has become, I think, so apathetic and so divided that it's almost guaranteed that it's going to go to a bad place politically. And that's why you've got people like Azruddin Muhammad becoming so popular all of a sudden.
All right, 40 minutes after 9 o'clock. As we look at the time, indeed, we'll be out here at 10 o'clock. But Wayne, do you think the opposition is mobilizing its support base fast enough, sir?
Well, Mark, if I feel that the opposition is mobilizing its support base, well, what the opposition does, especially the PNC party, they do a lot of work that we see, but there's a lot of work that they do that we don't see. Okay, and they've gotten a lot of promises from a lot of people, and some of these people are PPP supporters that promised that they would vote PNC. Listen, I'm not going to say that all of them is going to do it, but some of them may. Because what the PPP would have done over these 5 years have not just impacted African Guyanese or PNC supporters, or that 50 or about percent of Guyanese that did not vote PPP. It would have impacted their own supporters. And these people started cursing and rambling and going on, okay, because they see the injustices that are not just being meted out to African Guyanese or people that would have voted on the side of the opposition, but also to them. All right? This Adriana Young situation didn't just impact, you understand me, one dynamic. It impact everyone. All right? So when you look from a mobilizing perspective, I think that the opposition can do more. They can do more when it comes to PR. Come on, guys. You guys got to pick up with this PR. You know, people should not be sleeping in the nights now. There's no time to sleep now. The next 90-something days or whatever should be a lot of sleepless nights. Okay, because there's work to be done. In a way, you guys are playing from behind, because we've been calling a long time for the MPs to get on the ground and start empowering young people and preparing them. Okay? I don't believe that was done to the best of the party's ability. Do they still have some time? Yes, there's a small window. But people got to understand, there's a lot of work to do. You can't go there and work 5 hours. You got to go there and work 15 hours. You got to work. All right? Lots of work. Yes, Rajendra Dinard. Lots of work to be done. So, Mark, there is time for the opposition to get their apparatus and get moving on this. All right? And Mark, let me just touch a little bit on this Azruddin Muhammad impact, because I would have had a lot to say with regards to Azruddin Muhammad over the last week or so. All right? And let me be lucidly clear here. Azruddin Muhammad, the strategy to enter this race late was an excellent strategy. Okay? Excellent strategy. And what I would have seen when Azruddin Muhammad entered this race, the red carpet was rolled out for him. Well, it doesn't work that way, at least with me. Okay? I've got to vet you. I've got to question you on your character. And that is what I did. All right? I'm not going to continuously do it. Why? Because if I do it to him, I have to do it to everybody. And let's remember, Guyana is a representational democracy. All right? And I promise when I get on programs, I am here to work for the Guyanese people. And if the Guyanese people foresee Azruddin Mohammed being a part of their democracy, there's not much that I can do about it, because I made a promise when I get on programs to work on behalf of the Guyanese people. All right. But they have to understand, like I would have said before, you have to vet your leaders thoroughly. Okay? Thoroughly. Because if it comes back to bite you, you cannot come and cry. It is you who would have made the decision. Mr. Benchcop, over to you, sir.
All right, 44 minutes after 9 o'clock, you guys have to go out and vote where your vote is worth it, where it makes sense, patriotic, honest people to get into office, to manage the affairs of manage the affairs of the country. There's no moving backward. You can't vote one set of corrupt vagabonds out and put another set of corrupt vagabonds in. It doesn't work so, because the country isn't going to move forward. So take a look around, and this is not about emotions. This is not about fancy things and things that glitters and all of. This is about your future. This is not about saving any individual. This is about saving a country, an entire nation. Specifically, Tom, what should the leader of the opposition do now to win crossover votes and even those who are sitting on the fence? It's called undecided voters. You being quote unquote outsider looking in, what should the leader of the opposition do at this point?
Okay, well, the first problem that the leader of the opposition has is Azruddin Mohammed. I mean, that's the number one problem right now, period. So the first thing he has to do is he has to utterly politically destroy Azruddin Mohammed. He has to make it so that the people have to choose between him or Azruddin. That's it. He has to do that yesterday. If he doesn't do that, then the PPP are going to set it up so that Azruddin takes away enough votes from the PNC that it guarantees a landslide of the PPP and puts them that much closer to a dictatorship. So that's where this is going. So I think ultimately the biggest problem that Aubrey Norton has is Azruddin Mohammed, and he's got to deal with that now. Period. And that's just it. And so a lot of people love Azruddin Mohammed and they're pushing, and because he's the new guy. But at the end of the day, it's either Azruddin Mohammed or it's going to be Aubrey Norton, one or the other. People have to make that choice. And so for the people who support Azruddin Mohammed but are still hanging around people and have friends who are PNC members, like, you should not be friends with anyone in the PNC. If you're an Azruddin Mohammed person, then you can no longer be around PNC people. You have to just be with him, because that's how this is now. You have to make a choice. You cannot ride on two horses. You're either going to be Azruddin Mohammed or you're going to be Aubrey Norton. It's one or the other, and that's it. You can't be both. And if you're going to be Azruddin Mohammed and talk around PNC people like everything is fine, it's not fine, because actually Azruddin Mohammed right now is a much bigger enemy and a much more dangerous force to the PNC and to the nation of Guyana than anyone else, even the PPP at this point. Because let me tell you something, there's no one in the PPP leading the PPP party who's under sanctions, who can't travel wherever they want around the world. So if Azruddin Mohammed, let's say, becomes the president of Guyana, then Guyana will have an outlaw president in the Western world. You will have someone who will have to make it so that Guyana can only do banking with countries all the way across the world. China, crazy regimes, and basically you'll just be shut down as an economy, is what will happen to you. So I don't know if people understand that. I don't think they do. They think that, oh, by voting for Azruddin Mohammed, what that's going to do is bring wealth and prosperity to Guyana. It's not. It's going to bring a lot of sadness. It's going to bring a lot of pain, a lot of destruction, because he's a man right now that is a total outlaw in the Western world. Total outlaw. And if you make a total outlaw your leader as president, then your entire nation is an outlaw nation. That's how you will be handled. And people like your next door neighbor, Maduro, he will invade you. He will take your land from you, and no one will help you. You'll have Azruddin Muhammad there saying, "Oh, I've got some Muslim guys in the Middle East who are going to help." But what are they going to do? Are they going to fly American F-16s all the way from the Middle East, all the way to fight Maduro out here? Is that what they're going to do? Really? That's not going to happen. So that's the problem that people are facing. No one really understands this when they look out on the horizon. No one, when they support Azruddin Muhammad, they don't see it as, oh, if I support him and he becomes president, then the whole country becomes an outlaw country and we get cut off from the entire world, like North Korea. No one thinks of it that way, but that's what's going to happen to you. So that's where we're at right now. The people of Guyana are totally oblivious to this. They don't know that having a guy like Azruddin Muhammad as your president will shut you off from the entire Western world. No one understands that. Everyone thinks, oh, we can take on the entire world. We'll do like the guy out in Africa, that guy over there. We'll just take on everybody all by ourselves. We'll rule the world. Ridiculous thinking. That's not going to happen. I'm sorry to break it to you. That's not going to happen. So that's the only road that you have if you support a guy like Azruddin Muhammad. You have to become basically the most powerful nation in the world. You have to dominate America. You have to dominate China. This is everyone you have to dominate, which means you have to get so many weapons. I mean, this is ridiculous. So anyway, that's what's going on. I look at it and I just scratch my head and say, oh, this place is doomed. But at the end of the day, what I see happening is this. The PPP are going to reap all the benefits of this, period. And they're going to get that much closer to having a dictatorship. And I just don't know what there is for the opposition party to do at this point, because it's almost an impossible position with Azruddin Muhammad in the race right now.
Absolutely. Enough of that. 51 minutes after 9 o'clock. Again, guys, be extra careful to this whole thing, where you vote and who you vote for, because it may very well turn around to harm you or hurt you. It might look good in the beginning, but remember, not everything that glitters is gold. You judge and you vote for people based on what you know of them, and that they have a solid history of working with you, whether it's human rights, whether it's law and order. Law and order is not something that you just speak on elections time. Oh, I believe in law and order, or I believe in human rights, when their folks' track records are horrible on law and order, human rights. Probably the same as the PPP as well. Horrible. So be careful how you vote, guys. Lots of other things we can talk about, but as we look at the time, what's your take briefly, Wayne, on a coalition? Because we're not seeing that. There seems to be no sign of a proper coalition. What's your take, sir?
Mark, I believe that that boat may have already sailed when it comes to APNU and AFC. I believe that boat would have already sailed. What I am envisioning right now is the PPP and a saturation of parties in parliament. When you talk about democracy and the democratic framework, okay, this aligns with having a more refined democracy, because it's going to have more checks and balances in place, right? With other parties having seats and not two dominant parties sitting there. Okay, the democracy would be more refined, I believe, and I believe that's the road that Guyana is heading down. I believe that there's a new young demographic of voters in Guyana right now, and they are not happy. They are fierce, okay? And as they continue to multiply, there is a good chance that 30 years from now, there is no PPP or PNC, all right? Because these people are not playing. They're very, very understanding of what would have happened to their parents and the environment that their parents would have been forced to live in under these two parties, more so the PPPC, because since after Burnham, where is the growth in Guyana? You can't just be an oil producing economy and push up some buildings and stuff and have a bridge building and call that, major progress. right? And people always say PPP. No, it's not PPP. It's the taxpayers' money that is building out all this infrastructure and not going directly to them. So we have to really be careful, you know, how we deal with this new young demographic of people. Okay. I think Aubrey Norton as a leader has to come more into contact with these young people, because a lot of them is claiming that they don't know him. Leo Waldron, I see a comment that the PPP is not going anywhere. I am going to differ a little bit on that, because this Adriana Young situation, and if the PPP does fall at these elections here, I don't see them getting back in anytime soon, because if you have a complete coalition or a complete coalition of parties in parliament, I believe that they would be able to penetrate, okay, the PPP economic framework and rebuild it favorably and equitably for all Guyanese. So I do not see the PPP being able to go back in there. That's why it is so critical. That's why they are so strategic. That's why they are so aggressive, because they have to hold on to this power. They have to. Over to you, Mark.
Thank you so much. At 55 minutes after 9 o'clock, as you prepare to head out and vote. Tom, are we still counting 90 days, or we gone down to 80 something now?
We're still at 90,
September
man.
1st.
Still at 90, man. I'm telling you. I'll tell you when it starts ticking down. It's still at 90. But I'll tell you this. I'm looking at some of the comments, Mark, and you know, there are a few things that when I'm looking at this situation, and I'm not knocking Azruddin Muhammad as a candidate. I'm not saying no one should vote for him. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is, okay, is that Azruddin Muhammad, he has connections to parts of the world that are not the United States. That's just the reality, okay? And so if he becomes president, let's say he becomes president, let's say he wins, he becomes president, right? And people are saying, well, the United States will pardon him. They'll drop the sanctions on him. Why would they drop the sanctions? Why would the United States drop the sanctions on him? Just because he won the presidency? No, they might make the sanctions even stricter. And here's the reason why. Because the Mohammeds are partnered with the enemies of the United States. At the end of the day, no matter how you want to cut it, they are partnered with people out in the Middle East, out in parts of the world who are enemies of the United States. And so if Azruddin Muhammad wants to be the president of Guyana, then what he's asking to do is to create a nation state in the backyard of the United States of America that will be an enemy to the United States. That's what will happen, because Azruddin may want to be a friend to America, but the people who back him commercially, the people who he banks with, the people internationally who he was smuggling gold out to, tons of gold out to, those guys are not our friends, okay? And they're not going to want him to do things that will benefit the United States. And I'm not saying Guyana should do things that benefit the United States. What I'm saying is if you make the leader of your country someone who's partnered with the enemies of the United States of America, and he's in our backyard, and he's under sanctions, you can best believe he's not going to get off the sanctions. They're only going to be worse. And it's only going to get worse for the nation of Guyana. More sanctions on the nation of Guyana. Why? Because the nation will then be clearly partnered with people who are our enemies. And no one in Guyana can expect and be upset at America if we're saying, hey, we don't want a nation in our backyard full of our enemies. We don't want that. No one in Guyana can get upset about that, because who would want that? There's no one in the world. You can't. The people of Guyana, you guys cannot go off and live near in Asia and expect to be next to China and become an anti-China regime, and China is not going to put pressure on you and be mad. Of course, they're going to be mad at you. So all I'm saying to the people of Guyana is this: right now, it looks like there's going to be a windfall of oil revenue coming to you through an American company called ExxonMobil. If Azruddin Muhammad becomes president, that probably goes away. Now, you can try to find other ways to get your riches. You can try, but doing it as an enemy of the United States of America and partner with enemies of America in our backyard is going to make it very difficult for your country to do that. Now, I'm not saying that it's impossible. I'm not saying that you guys shouldn't do it. All I'm saying is that that's a very hard road to take. And unless you expect America to go away, I don't know how you expect to be very wildly successful being an enemy to the United States in the backyard of the United States. I just don't understand the idea behind that. I don't understand why anyone thinks that would happen. But that's what people in Guyana are pushing when you're supporting Azzuddin Mohammed. And that's the most upsetting thing that I see from my perspective.
Thank you so much, Tom Anderson. Point well taken there. 59 minutes after 9 o'clock. And again, guys, September 1st is Elections Day in Guyana. You've got to get your ID card. You've got to go out there and vote. You've got to be vigilant. You got to make your vote count. It's not about emotions. It's about the future of the country. It's about saving the country, saving your country, Guyana. If you vote to save an individual, then the country goes backward. Be careful. Be careful, because democracy is on test right now. Democracy, freedom of speech. When you go into the voting booth, that's what you vote for. You vote for a country to be healed. You vote, again, read between the lines, you vote to save a nation. Nobody goes into a voting booth to save an individual. Individuals could either go into a church or a mosque or a mandir to be saved. Not in the politics for people to save them, disguised as though they care about country. They just do not do that. Wayne, as we look at the time, you were about to say something briefly, and incorporate that with your closing remarks, please, sir. Briefly.
Sure. I just want to add a bit more to what Tom would have just said. I know from a Guyanese perspective, the Mohammeds are very wealthy. But let me just be quite clear in saying that what the Mohammeds have is like a needle in a whole haystack when you look at ExxonMobil, the investments they have made in Guyana, amongst other things. So there is no way that I believe that the Mohammeds will be allowed, Azzuddin Mohammed is going to be allowed to ascend to the presidency in Guyana, knowing that there may be possible sanctions. Because if there is sanctions on Azzuddin Mohammed as president of Guyana, I believe that all oil extraction and all the whole thing has to cease. Okay? So I don't believe that they would allow that to happen. So there may be indictments coming down within that 90 days. Do not be surprised. I will not be surprised. Okay? And now for my closing remarks. Guyanese, hold your heads up here. Hold your heads up. Do not focus too much on people hopping. Remember, you have strong leaders who stay in their lanes and lead, okay, who back their party 100%, okay, who has the understanding and the appetite that they are not just serving themselves, but they are serving a people, all right? The people that you're seeing that are hopping, they are just very, very weak, disgruntled leaders, all right? If you are in a party and you are not getting along with, let's say, maybe a leader of the opposition, look, you have to find a way to make things work, because you have to understand that you are representing a constituency. You're representing a people, all right? So let's continue to hold our heads up, ladies and gentlemen. Like I told you guys, strap in, get your popcorn, your caramel popcorn, cheese popcorn, whatever it is going to be a rough ride. But I am of the belief that the opposition will get there. Thank you for having me, Mark. Over to you.
Thank you so much. I've noticed that a lot of people are asking, they're begging for an extra 30 minutes. They're begging for an extra 15 minutes. We have lots of other things that we can be talking about. We want to be talking, we ought to be talking about other things. If you notice, I'm silent for now, but I do believe that people should go out and vote. People have a right to exercise their democratic rights. Don't get me wrong with that. But I just don't want to see people throw the country away. I just don't want to. A lot of you have fought for the country. A lot of us have fought for the country in our own way, and for it to be going in a direction that we sense, especially with the PPPC, and for individuals to go and destroy basically what is there in the opposition, and it's not destroying the PPP. It's, if you take a look around, you see what is happening. It can very well be a plan, a well orchestrated plan, in order, like Tom said earlier, for the PPP to get back into office with possibly a larger percentage of votes. You've got to stop that, guys. And if you guys can sit back and understand what is really happening, you'll get a better sense.
Well, Mark,
where to put your vote. That said, though, sorry, Tom. That said, though, we are going until 10:30. You guys know I'm getting up there in age, and so 10 o'clock was it for me. So, yeah. So, Tom, go ahead. You were making a point, sir.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm noticing in the comments, people are saying that, oh, America will work with Muhammad if he becomes president. And the people of Guyana have to understand, and what I'm going to say here, there are some Americans who are listening, and they're going to be mad when I say this, okay? Because it's the truth, but they don't want people to hear this because it's the truth. But the people of Guyana need to hear this, okay? America would love it for Guyana to be under sanctions. Okay, you know why our country would love your nation to be under sanctions? We would love your nation to be under sanctions because we would smuggle all your oil and steal it from you. That's why. So if Azraddin Mohammed becomes president with the support of the United States, the only reason for that to happen is so that we can put you under sanctions and we can steal all your oil from you. That's it. So I don't know what people are thinking. I don't know why. I guess people are thinking because I'm an American that I'm on here to talk about how great America is. Nah, man, I'm here to tell you guys the truth. And the truth is, it would be much easier for us. You're right. It would be much easier for us guys to have Azraddin Mohammed as your dictator under sanctions, and we put your whole nation under sanctions and we just steal everything from you. Okay. That's what you want, but that's what you will get. So I'm just saying, I don't think the people of Guyana understand the situation you're in. You're not in a great situation. You're in a very, very bad situation, and you're sleepwalking through it. You're not realizing that you have to have your own independence, and you're not going to get it through a criminal. You're not going to get it through some guy, some rich guy who's going to all of a sudden make it all right for you. If he didn't make it, if Azraddin Mohammed didn't make it right for you before he was under sanctions, he's not going to make it right for you after. He's only trying to make it right now because he's trying to get from under those sanctions. He's trying to continue to live his life as a rich man. Why? He was born a rich man. He's been a rich man sitting in the middle of a poor country his entire life. What does he know? He knows how to live a life of convenience. He knows how to live a life of connections. He knows how to contact the president of Guyana to complain about his tax bill on his Lamborghini. That's what he knows. So all of a sudden that he's a common man to every man, he's not. He's a rich man. He doesn't know much about the common man. With that said, I understand the draw that, of course, he's like Donald Trump. If Americans can elect Donald Trump, then Guyana can elect a criminal like Azraddin Mohammed, and that's the guy that's going to lead us to the promised land. And what I'm saying to you is, that's just not how it works, especially not in your position. America, we can make a mistake and bring in a guy like Donald Trump and still make it through okay, because we're a ginormous country. We're the biggest economy in the world. It's not even close. So we can withstand a guy like Donald Trump and still make it through. You guys are not in that position. You cannot withstand having a guy who's under sanctions as your leader right now. Not right now in the development of your country. You really have to think about your situation. And so with that said, I understand why there are people jumping ship from the PNC over to the PPP, because they're looking at Aubrey Norton and they're scratching their head and they're wondering what's going on. There's going to be election in 90 days. There's no there's like no effort happening where it's like driving people hard to get organized. There seems to be no fight at all, right? At all. So of course you're going to see people jumping ship. Of course people are going to get worried. And of course you're going to get people within the APNU and the PNC who are going to look at a guy like Azruddin Muhammad as the savior, right? Because that's the lazy way out. They don't realize that it takes hard work to run a country. You have to run it from the bottom up, and it takes a lot of hard work from a lot of people. One man can't do it. So the situation you guys are in right now, I recommend, and I'll continue to recommend it, that you guys organize. You don't pay attention to party right now. What you need to pay attention is to your standards as citizens of Guyana. You have to define what you want in your future, and you have to pressure all parties to adhere to what your vision is as a people. That's what has to happen, and that's what's not happening. And since you guys as a people are not forcing your vision onto your leadership, another vision is being forced on you, and that's what you're feeling. And instead of you dealing with that, you're trying to run out to Azruddin Muhammad as an escape hatch. It's not going to work. You have to face your fears. You have to face your problems head up. And the problem in Guyana is that the people have not organized together to force their wants and their desires onto their leadership. Instead, they've sat back and let everything happen to them. And until that changes, things are going to continue to get worse.
Thank you, Tom Anderson. 10 minutes after 10 o'clock. Eileen Carbizes, we respect your views, but let us not go the route that you're going and addressing our guest, and especially Tom, who has done so much for Guyana, to address him as Yankee boy, close your mouth. It's unacceptable. Please, let's not go that route. And that's all I would say. If you disagree with him or you disagree with any one of us here, be respectful of that disagreement. He's entitled to his view. You're entitled to yours, but let's be respectful about it. On the 1st of September, people should go out and vote, not on emotions, but to save a country. Guyana needs to be rescued. It needs to be saved. When you walk into that voting booth, you walk in to save a country, not an individual who's scrambling to save themselves right now. You save a country. And once you save a country, then you're able to put democracy back on track. You're able to put good economic plans back on track where everyone will benefit from it. And be careful, be careful. Mr. C's, as we move on now to Adriana Young, they had a nice, successful, I wouldn't say march, but thousands of people went out to show their support for Adriana Young and calling for justice. What is your take? The government is silent on that as we move away and deal with real issue here now too again. Adriana Young.
Yeah, before I even get into that, Tom, I wanna apologize for Eileen because you have been doing an excellent job, just giving us great information. And look, the Guyanese people on the ground literally love you. So please, I just want you to know that.
Thank you.
Okay.
I appreciate it. It's okay.
I apologize.
I got thick skin, man. I'm good. And she could, voice her opinion. And I understand why she's upset because I say some things, man, that can get you under your skin. I'm sorry I do that.
But that's not only that. The bumps raised, as we would say, the bumps raised. You attack her candidate, her choice. It's a choice that wouldn't save Guyana. Guyana needs to be headed on the right track, the proper track. And those few guys, some of them will get a rude awakening. The majority of the opposition, they're right now they're sleeping, so to speak. But on elections, they are closer to elections. They see a different PNCR, if you ask me. I'm not endorsing anybody else, but do not underestimate the PNCR, guys. I think a lot of people are underestimating that party. It's a powerful party. And when those people wake up, some of y'all will be surprised. how these elections will go. So don't waste your vote on emotions and trying to save an individual. You save a country. Adriana Young now, please.
Yes,
Mr.
yes,
Speaker.
thank you so much, Mark. Um, I was purviewed. I did not get to go to this event this Sunday, but I did went out to the candlelight vigil, which was a massive crowd there also. But this one was extremely massive, and you know it just shows you that the ears of the Guyanese people is on the ground. So if the PPP think that the Guyanese people are sleepwalking, they are fully awake now. I do believe so. And they are calling for justice. They are yearning for justice for Adriana Young. And like I would have said earlier, this is going to be on the ballot. This is going to play a massive role. The murder of young Adriana Young is going to play a massive role in this upcoming elections. It's going to be very, very impactful. It will hurt the PPP tremendously because what? The electorate who is calling for that justice for Adriana Young understands that the PPP will never give them that justice. They know how they have to get that justice by voting in a new government. And let's go over this whole investigation. A new government may request and summon the FBI to Guyana. Okay? And we are going to get more clarity on what would have happened to young Adriana Young. So the voices of the Guyanese people was heard this past Sunday. We see them in their numbers, okay, at the Guyana Independence Day celebration. I want to thank all the promoters who would have worked, you know, very, very hard, from Rick Ford to Melly Mel, everybody who would have worked so hard putting together that event. It was quite a success. You saw 2 Congress people, the US showed up there, okay, and was present. So look, this Adriana tragedy, all right, has impacted the entire world. I see no way that the PPP can duck out of this. No way they can duck out. Over to you, Mark.
Yeah, thank you so much, and congrats to all those who made it happen. There were lots of people behind the scene who worked, people who have donated, people who have made the Adriana Young's family comfortable while they're here. Kudos to all those people. So many names that can be mentioned, and that is what happens when there's teamwork. Teamwork always make everything possible. Tom, what's your take on the Adriana Young situation, and they're still fighting for justice, sir?
Well, it's the perfect example of what happens when, you know, the Guyanese people come together for a cause. It's amazing. The whole world changes. I mean, so that's why I just sit back and I scratch my head. I go, why is it you guys see what you've done with Adriana, right? You've seen it. I mean, I'm seeing it. It's pretty amazing, right? So you see this, and then you're like, the same people who are doing this are saying, oh, but we have to have a savior to do. Nah, man, you guys are good. You know, you just have to just learn to take your politics more serious and understand that right now in the nation of Guyana, politics is money. Literally, it's money. Period. And you have to decide as a people that, you know, we need to start organizing around our money. All right. That's what has to happen. And when you guys start coming with that mindset and understanding that, oh, you know, what happens politically has a direct impact on my bank account in an extreme way, one way or the other, and you understand that and you're operating on a daily basis towards that, that's when you guys are going to start seeing results that you're going to like. So, you know, I think this whole thing with Adriana Young has shown the world what the character of the people of Guyana, the true character. Because look, man, this has been rough with a government that's been so just lying and just disgusting. I mean, this has been really, really rough. And in the face of that, all you've seen is just love and just a nation coming together and just bringing in people from all over the world to support. And so I think it's just been amazing. And I think it's something that's going to continue, not just, through this election, but for a long time. I think the name and the memory of Adriana Young is going to last for a very long time for a lot of people.
Very long time for a lot of people. When you go out and you vote, understand what you're voting for. You're fighting against injustices. You're fighting against extrajudicial killings. You're fighting against corruption. And we have seen it. And be careful with individuals who now disguise themselves as being the pretenders that they are, that they believe in human rights and they believe in law and order. Just look at their track record and how they've been able to penetrate and possibly corrupt the entire system, all because of wealth, all because of little money. And those are individuals who never cared about you. Let's face reality. Let's face the facts, guys. And closer to the elections time, we'll talk all more about that. Lots and lots more. You go out, you be smart with your vote. Remember, when you vote, you're voting to save a country, not to save an individual. If you vote to save an individual, you're digging a deeper hole for yourself and the entire country and for the future of your generation. Be careful with snake oil salesmen. Mr. Caesar, briefly, as you look into the cameras and you urge people to be prepared to go out and vote as of September, especially opposition supporters, to go out and be prepared to vote September 1st. Your closing remarks.
Yes, what I would say, yes, thank you so much. Thank you, Mark. What I would say to the Guyanese people, and I saw my good friend John C. Paul, I think I see a comment to the nature that when you cannot tell the people or you cannot decide where the people vote. It would not be very smart of me, John C. Paul, to try to tell the Guyanese people where they should place their vote. That is their democratic right. And I also believe that voting is something that is very personal. You don't always tell people where you would have placed your ballot. It's a very personal thing. What I would encourage the Guyanese people to do, right? It's just like the lottery. You cannot win the lottery. You have to be in it to win it. So you cannot talk about wanting to see that change and wanting to see the back of the PPPC if you are not participating in the electoral process. Remember, this is your democratic right, okay? Guyana is supposed to be a representational democracy. You need to go out and you need to exercise your democratic right by voting. But one of the other things I would like to say to every citizen in Guyana, reach over the fence and talk to your neighbors. As you walk through the highways and the byways in your village, speak to people. Encourage them to vote. All right. I have to ask the people to do this because a lot of times, the resources on the ground, even if they're on the ground, the resources is not enough to get to every single village, more so get to every single person. So we have to use these broadcasts to promote and encourage and empower the Guyanese people to demonstrate their democratic right. Look, for 23 years, the Guyanese people has been conditioned under the PPPC. You're not going to just reverse that by snapping a finger, okay? It takes time. It takes consistency on speaking to the people, engaging the people. And that's what I want to see more from leaders. I believe sometimes these leaders are a bit stubborn. But look, if you're going to ascend to the presidency of Guyana, you have to be in touch with your people. You have to understand them. You have to understand their needs, okay? So that when you ascend to the seat of the presidency, you can address them directly, okay? So with that being said, I encourage all opposition parties. No specific party. I don't have a horse in the race. Okay. I encourage all the opposition parties to get out there and to campaign strongly. We talk about 2020 elections being the mother of them all. This one is. This is the first election whereby Guyana is an oil-producing nation. So blood is in the water. Okay, let's go and get it. All right, the opposition needs to get hungry. And like Tom said, he doesn't see that aggressiveness. He doesn't see that drive. He's not seeing that push. Okay, it's 3 months. Tom said still 90 days. Okay, it's 90 days out. We need to be pushing. We need to be having 4-hour days, sleeping 4 hours a day. Okay, it's that important. You know why? Because we were somewhat lackadaisical through the biannual Congress to now. Okay, so we are behind. So we have to push now. Thank you for having me tonight, Mark. Tom, it was a pleasure spending this time with you and also the audience. Over to you, Mark.
All right. Yeah. Thank you so much, and to all of you in the audience. Unlike Wayne, I have a horse. Every elections, you've got to have somebody that you have to choose. You cannot say you don't, and this is with all due respect, I also noticed with all due respect, Mr. Caesar, I am going to choose a horse in the race. I'm not going to sit back. I'm not going to say, hey, vote for everybody in the opposition, and I'm not going to confuse you guys. I don't want to do that. And I will just give you guys my opinion, and I will have an endorsement when the time is right, because I want you to be able to make that right choice, that I believe that would be a right choice, the best choice in order to save Guyana. This elections is about saving Guyana, not about saving an individual. Do not be fooled. I have an endorsement, but not now, because I want the best for Guyana. I want to save Guyana. All of us should be able to save Guyana, not no one man. 83,000 square miles we are saving, not 83,000 acres of land. Tom, your closing remarks, please.
Yeah,
Thank
man.
you.
Wayne, thanks again for everything. And I just got to say, man, there is strength in numbers. That's what politics is all about. It's all about numbers. Okay. And, maybe the people who support the APNU, the PNC, maybe you maybe won't be as lucky getting a bunch of, Indo PPP people to jump over to the PNC side. Maybe you won't be too successful at getting a bunch of them to do that. But what you can be successful at is organizing your own side to perfection and making sure that your own house is in order. And I think that's what people should be focused in on right now. If you're in the opposition, the focus should be getting all of your T's crossed, all your I's dotted, and making sure that you've got, your side, your house totally in order, 100%. And that way that so that way when it comes time to vote on election day, that you've got everything set and there's nothing more that you could have done, right? And so that's the key, and there's strength in numbers. And I just think at the end of the day, the people of Guyana, I trust the people of Guyana. The nation right now is in a developmental process. There's a lot more growth to come, but I think everyone should just keep in mind, right, going forward, that everything that's happening now will be looked back upon historically by later generations as pivotal things that happened. And so we're living through it now, and we're talking about it, and we're saying, oh, this could happen or that can happen. But I guarantee you, 50 years from now, 60 years from now, people will look back during this time that we're living right now, and they will point to some pivotal things going on that we all kind of looked at and didn't think much about it. So with that said, we're living history as we speak. We should be aware of that. And the best way to tackle history, if you want to look good on the other side of everything, is to have strength in numbers and to stick with what's right and what's true. That's how you do it. If you can do that, if you can stay with the truth, if you can stay with what's right, if you can organize properly, right? If you can organize your own house, get your own side in order, if you can do all of that, history will look good upon you, right? But if what you're trying to do is quick fix, let's just go, this guy, he's really exciting, let's just jump on that guy because, you know, everybody likes him. And we'll just, you know, roll the dice. I'm telling you right now, when you're living in historical times, the people who just blindly roll the dice, they tend to be the ones that history looks back upon and says, oh, they made a mistake. That wasn't smart. Okay. So be mindful, organize, there's strength in numbers, and go with what's right and what's true. And I do believe there will be a lot of talk back and forth, but at the end of the day, I have a lot of faith in the people of Guyana. And I think that at the end of the day, the election will be the best it can be, and the nation of Guyana will move on and do well, no matter what the results are. It's how I feel about it. So that's how I see it. But I just think everyone should right now just be focused in on just getting your house in order and heading into this with your best foot forward, and just being really well organized in numbers, and just having your mind set and focused on the right stuff, on the good things, on the things that matter, and not the hot button issues that everyone wants to laugh or joke about.
Thank you so much, Tom. And thank you so much, Mr. Caesar, as we close off tonight's program. I noticed somebody said that we should go for another half hour, so we will. I'm sorry, Tom. I was like, no, nothing. But thank you all so much. We'll be back. I'll have back Tom. I'll have Tom and Wayne some other night. But I'll be back tomorrow, and I'll have hopefully a couple of guests as well. We head down to elections time, all right? It's countdown time, and we want people that will be able to steer you in the right direction and to let you know that you have a country to save, not an individual. As a human rights activist, those things are very passionate. And I know when people are packing people about human rights and law and order, I know who weren't there for you guys. I know who were violating your rights. I know them. And I can't see you vote for folks who have violated your rights, whether it's the PPP or whether it's anybody else who's attempting to packle you. Wayne, thank you so much. Tom, thank you so much. And to all our listeners, God bless all of you. Every single one of you. Vote smart.
Have a good night.
Thank you. Good. All right. So I'll be back tomorrow. Same place, same time. I know some bumps will be raising. Lots of bumps will be raising. You've got to vote smart, guys. Don't let anybody just paku you and make you feel as though that you are not the smartest on earth. And they feel that they can just swar you. You know, swar you. Don't fall for swearing. Don't fall for swearing at all. Do the right thing. I think when those folks in the opposition wake up, mainly they're underestimating the PNC. They're underestimating the PNC. And there are other individuals that I think mean well. They're not part of the PNC. I think Simona Brooms mean well. I think London means well. There are others who mean well, but hopefully, I don't know if they're going to fall on the big coalition with the right people. I don't know. But those people mean well. Those people have been there with you too. And, you know, be smart, guys. Read between the lines. Y'all know I have a big mouth and I'll be talking more come closer to elections time, right? Oh, yeah. All right, good. I'm out of here. I like throwing a little shades and just looking at some of your comments. God bless all of you. And I know Guyana will be saved. A country has to be saved, not an individual who's swearing you guys to save them. You'll see some of those people true colors. Oh, man, it's filthy. I'm out of here. How come you guys are not talking about saving these people? You know, they have been persecuted for so many years, but like you guys forget about them. Touch them out, right? They need to be saved as well. God bless all of you. 83,000 square miles. God bless all of you. Even if you have 83,000 acres of land. Oh, gosh. People are so lucky, right? God bless you. So long.
गोरी 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 कभी कभी कहीं कहीं चोरी चोरी छुप छुप के तुम मिला करो प्यारी प्यारी बातें बातें किया करो पर यूं ना मिलना किसी से कभी हमारे सिवा गोरी 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 Thank